GitHub Copilot and JetBrains IDEs support the Model Context Protocol with powerful new capabilities. Today, I'll show you features that bring external tools and context directly into your IDE. First, Agent Mode with MCP support. Agent Mode allows GitHub Copilot to be more autonomous. I can ask what open issues there are in this repository, and Copilot understands to use the GitHub MCP server. Once listed, I can ask it to implement an issue and get to work. Copilot then outlines each step it's taken, reading the files, planning its work, and its output. It'll ask for confirmation to run terminal commands to build and validate the output. And if there are errors, it will continue to work automatically until the problems are solved. I can look through the changes, iterate on the output with additional prompts, and accept them once I'm happy with them. Here's one of the new MCP enhancements, sampling. I can go to Settings, Model Context Protocol, and configure which models Copilot is allowed to use at both global and server levels. Then I can call tools with my preferred model and see the results right in my chat window. MCP prompts are another new addition. If I type /, I can browse prompts from my installed MCP servers. I can then pick a prompt, fill in the arguments through the pop-ups, and execute them. If the prompt needs resources like files or images, they are automatically added as references. I can also leverage MCP servers for additional context. If I click Add Context and then MCP Resources, I can select from available MCP servers. For MCP servers that provide resources like the file system server, I can use the Add mention, and that lets me select specific configuration files or patterns directly. And here's where it gets really interesting, MCP elicitation. If I call the repository configuration elicitation, Copilot guides me through a structured dialogue flow. I can respond step by step, and the conversation history persists, even if I restart my IDE. This is very powerful for real-world scenarios, configuration wizards, and requirement gathering, or any guided troubleshooting where Copilot asks the right questions instead of you having to try and figure out what information to provide up front. And that's the power of GitHub Copilot with MCP in JetBrains IDEs. Happy coding! Hello, my friends. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're joining us from. Welcome to this special event from GitHub. I'm Andrea Griffiths, a Colombia dev. What? She missed the LA. I did. Long story short, thank you for being here today. I'm super excited because we have a very interesting topic. I think if you joined via LinkedIn, maybe you are familiar with the speaker. And if not, well, welcome. You're about to learn something awesome today. We're going to do something that hopefully will kind of bring you some joy. You know, there is cool tools and all. There's always cool tools. And I feel we're talking about AI every day, all day. This is going to be AI related, but I hope that by the end of it, you're a bit convinced that, you know, if you lean into this, you get curious. This is actually going to be a tool that you can use in your own workflows now. I am joined by Ayan Gupta, who is a cloud developer advocate at Microsoft Java, and he's going to show us a very handy tool today. Before we bring Ayan on, I want to take a moment to thank you all again for joining. Please tell me where you're joining us from. I rush into it. I didn't say hello. I realized something. I haven't done a pre-roll before with a video that I did, and there is nothing more cringe than listening to your own voice. So at least for me, that was painful. But thank you. Hello, hello. This is such a nice, hey, git commit. Message hello, IT people. Hello to everyone. Hello. Thank you, Dakota, for the welcome. Carlos Alberto, fancy seeing you here. Happy Wednesday, my friends. All right, so let's bring Ayan, who's joining us from a very professional studio. Ayan, I look like an amateur here. Like, where
Well,
are
trust
you?
me, I'm like overwhelmed by the number of screens over here. There's one there, one here, one there, one there. So like if you catch me looking around, it's not because I'm in a live studio audience setting. I'm just confused where I'm supposed to look.
I love it. I love it. I hope I got your title right, that you are a developer advocate, Microsoft Java. No, developer advocate cloud, Microsoft Java.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I'm advocating for anything having to do with the cloud or now more than ever, AI. So definitely very
Beautiful.
accurate.
Beautiful, wonderful. Well, thank you. So, listen, folks, we get to learn from someone with the experience. Where are my Java developers in the chat? Raise your hand if you're still using that coded programming language that pays so many of our bills for so long. Thank you, Java. And if you are not using Java, well, we're actually going to talk about a tool that handles both, right? Like it can help .NET developers do their modernizations, but also Java developers. But I think as a whole, the conversation is about, of course, the tool, which is a fantastic extension, and we'll dig into that. But also more like grounding this into the real problems that all of you are facing now. Because I was listening to a podcast actually yesterday with the deadlines that are approaching and looming. And of course, we're talking about Java today. So you know that Java 8 support is starting to, I think it's 2030, what the official Oracle support is. But now, you know, it depends on who your provider is. That might be sooner. So if you have applications at work or even in your own projects that you have not dared looked at in many years because they're working, they're with that workhorse that is Java, and you're thinking, wow, what's going to happen when there is no longer support? This is a good talk for you. And we talk to engineering teams all the time that are looking at this, and they might say, well, this is not my job. And I'm here to tell you, no, it is. It's all our responsibility. So I know that you've seen teams that are using this, and you're going to actually talk us through what the tool is. Like the tool is here to address those friction points that make it so inaccessible for you to think about long pieces of modernization like this. Like I wrote a piece, I'll share it in a blog post piece. It took me 2 months to do it, friends, because I did it with like the grounding on my own project that I have not touched since 2018. And I feel you. Trying to do this by hand is not an easy, pleasant process. And now we have this tool that is incredibly intuitive, and Ayan is actually gonna share with us. So it's built on agent mode. It's I guess Copilot is gonna help us out. Take it away, Ayan. What are you bringing us today?
Yes, we're talking about a new tool called the GitHub Copilot App Modernization tool. And this issue of upgrading apps or even upgrading technologies is not new. And I have a really fun anecdote to tell you, which you might actually find very interesting. But it's a hard task. You know, in the new age of AI, we can't expect to just bolt AI onto legacy applications and expect it to work. I wish it was that easy, but it's not. And tech debt is real. Like you were talking about, old companies really struggle, and even not old companies. I mean, the world is changing so fast. We have to upgrade, modernize, it seems like every few years. And sometimes it's so difficult, you just put it off, or you say, okay, control, alt, delete, get rid of it all, restart. It's just easier to do that. And how many of you are aware of the Louvre heist? I mean, unless
Oh,
you
do tell, do tell. I
yeah,
only see the
yeah.
mugshots. I'm into it. I'm into it. Tell me what happened.
Yeah,
It
so
was
the
a Java. It
Louvre
was a Java legacy app that caused the problem. What?
Not exactly Java, but you would never guess what version of Windows they were running. They were running Windows XP and 2000.
Oh, bless
So
them.
that's
Wow.
crazy, isn't it? Like over 20 years of tech debt, and they were using on-prem servers,
Yeah.
proprietary applications, and of course they had other issues like their passwords literally being Louvre, or that's the equivalent of your password being 1234 or password. But it was a whole laundry list of issues. One of the largest being that they never modernized, migrated their applications or their security infrastructure. So don't feel bad. It's not just a you problem. It's even the biggest governments, biggest museums. Everybody's dealing with the exact same issue. And that's what we're here to talk about today. how this new tool can maybe even help the Louvre upgrade their systems. So there's three aspects to migrating and modernizing your application. The first is to streamline your data so AI can actually use it. And then you modernize your applications to build and iterate quickly. You do a full overhaul of the way you work. And then finally you simplify operations. So it's a lot of work upfront, but it really pays off. It's an investment into your own code that really helps pull things together. And before we go any further, I really want to spend some time on this chart over here because I was at a conference recently, and whenever I talk about this product, there's so many misconceptions about what it actually does. And people are like, it's not working. Well,
Yes.
not yet. Exactly. We're not yet at a point where AI is super intelligent. I think one of the best analogies I've heard is that AI is like a really smart 2-year-old. So you got to point it in the right direction and it'll start going in that direction. But it's very easy for it to go down a wormhole of incorrect ideas or solutions or whatnot.
Okay, wait. So using this tool is very different than me just opening the Copilot chat and saying, "Hey Copilot, upgrade my Java version."
Yes, maybe someday in the future we'll get there, but right now this tool is part of a larger overarching workflow when it comes to migrating and modernizing applications. But I do think it does streamline the most difficult part in this
Mhm.
task. So hopefully, not hopefully, there's data actually which supports that it really does help, and it really leverages AI to make you capable of doing the work of 10 developers instead of just one. So it's
Absolutely.
really fun. So typically right now, when you upgrade infrastructure, or let's say you have on-premise infrastructure, you have your on-premise infrastructure, you run through portfolio analysis tool, assessment tool. Sorry, I got tongue-tied. Wow, tongue-tied. Um, and then you open issues on GitHub. And then finally, once issues are open, then as a developer, you go and take actions on those issues. So this is
Mhm.
where the tool comes in. It comes in when you open an issue or when you open a project that needs to be migrated or upgraded or all of the above, and you start working on it. And the way it works is it follows a pretty simple cycle. And a commonality you will see here is that it's just like a human. It'll iterate through a project just like a human. It'll make mistakes just like a human. But the important thing is you as a human are not doing it. So it'll start by assessing the application, right? It's not magic. It has to understand what's going on under the hood. It'll then understand what needs to be upgraded. Maybe the frameworks need to be upgraded. Maybe the language version itself needs to be upgraded. It'll migrate everything that needs to be migrated. It'll run CVE validation tests. It'll build the project, make sure it does in fact build. And the really cool thing is that it'll also write unit tests for you. So it'll test the code that it is writing or refactoring or changing and make sure it really does work. And then finally, my two favorite parts, containerizing and deploying it so that everyone in the world can have access to it. So it's a very nifty tool. And again, I think it's really intuitive because it really does work like a human in that way.
I love that. So, like the app works so that you're able to give the AI a process, right? Instead of just leaving it to like with my very big upgrade is. Um,
Exactly.
so you have that structure and the consistency, but also it keeps you, the human, with the taste and the judgment um, to take actions. Amazing.
Exactly. Yeah. And what gets me really excited is, we heard at Build and at Ignite we'll have a bunch of new announcements as well. But we're already seeing how through GitHub you can actually open issues, and GitHub will go and actually, if you assign GitHub to the issue, it'll go and resolve the issue. So I see these as incremental baby steps towards getting to the point where it's as easy as you said it would be, where it's like, hey, modernize and upgrade and migrate this project, and truly it's done end to end. So I think this is a step in that direction. But in the meantime, this is what the process looks like. So The cool
Oh, do
thing,
tell. Yes, please tell me. That
yes.
was going to be my next question, actually, because this all sounds great, but I'm like, show me the money. Show me the folks who've used this. This is great. I love it that you brought this.
Yeah, I mean, no matter if you're just an individual developer or a startup or maybe even a teacher who's teaching Java and you just have old projects that need to be brought up to newer Java versions, or even large corporations, in this case, Ford China collaborated with the Microsoft China team on the Azure Java migration tool. And they said that it reduced their work up to 70% using tools like GitHub Copilot App Modernization and Copilot Agent Mode. Um, Another example is there's a telecommunications company based in China. They said GitHub Copilot App Modernization upgrade for Java helps developers quickly plan the scope of changes, provide upgrade suggestions for Java projects, and can complete version upgrades with less development resource investment, reducing the security risk caused by Java version EOS. And the one thing I want to highlight here is it provides upgrade suggestions. And when we jump into the tool, I think the UI will hopefully be very intuitive, but also just blow you away with the way that we're able to actually take a huge code base and give it to you as a list of actionable items like a procedure. And then not only are external customers using it, even us within Microsoft, we are using this tool. The Microsoft Discovery and Quantum team use the GitHub Copilot App Modernization tool to upgrade the Java Spring framework and its dependencies to the latest version. The tool increased development efficiency by automatically detecting depreciated properties, suggesting remediations, and fixing vulnerability issues. As a result, the team improved the modernization process and reduced migration effort by more than 80%.
Wow.
And these are just like a small subset of companies. I know GM has been using the tool. There's actually no, GM claimed that they were able to make 1,300 file changes in 3 hours,
God.
which I think is really cool. And then Toyota, Verizon, Sheen, and a company known as Capgemini. So definitely lots of cool stuff happening in the space, and it's being used in the real world. And hopefully you will also use it and see the power of AI and how it can help bring your application into 2024, 2025, 2026, and beyond.
Amazing. So it works for these big enterprises. It's being used at Microsoft. Um, all of us should give it a go as well.
Absolutely. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen while I do a quick transition to opening my IDE, and give me a moment. With all these screens, it might take me
No
22
worries. No
seconds.
worries. While you do that, I share on the screen a link to Ayan's LinkedIn. So if you want to follow Ayan, go ahead and hit that follow button. And then throughout the stream, we're going to share some resources, but I'll go ahead and put up the first link here. It's going to be scrolling the bottom of the screen. And this is a great sort of knowledge center that Ayan has put together with all the information about what we're discussing today, the links to the modernization app, and some other resources so that you can go and play. There's also a repo that you're going to share. You're going to share the actual repo that we're using today for the demonstration, right?
Yes, yeah. So if you actually go to, or maybe it's linked in the bio, I'm not sure, or not the bio, it's not Instagram, but maybe it's linked in the YouTube description. Do you know?
Yes.
The
Well, I got to tell
Azure
production.
samples.
I got to tell production to do that right now, meaning I'm going to do that right now. Sorry, I forgot to do it earlier, but I'll do it right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah,
Yes, I'm going
but
to go
it's
ahead and
really
link
cool, the
it.
demo. Yeah, the demo and all the code, tools, resources. You can walk through it yourself if you would like. It's on Azure samples. It's anywhere. It's available for anyone in the world to use and check out. Um, I wouldn't suggest following along because we will fast forward through some things just so we can fit everything into an hour. But please, on your own time, go experiment with the tool, try it out, and tell us what you think.
Fabulous.
All right. So once you have your nifty little GitHub Copilot App Modernization tool installed, it shows up on the left side here with all of your other plugins. And we'll start by clicking on this Run Assessment button. And it's really cool because this is essentially the first part of that cycle that we had just taken a look at on that nifty graphic, where it's assessing the application. Just like anything else in the world, you can't really do anything until you actually understand what you are looking at. And similarly, Copilot is understanding what it is looking at. It can take sometimes up to 5, maybe 10 minutes for it to do so. But again, I think it's a huge improvement from having to manually go and look at the code. It's so hard to look at other people's code and understand what it is. Sometimes even your own code. So having AI do that for you is a huge upgrade, in my opinion. So we'll wait for it to do its thing.
Okay, so right now the application is just doing that initial scan, right?
Yes.
Just okay, getting the lay of the land of the code. Listen, I forget what I wrote yesterday. Much less, and this was painfully evident to me when I looked at that 2018 project, like I was sharing earlier. I was like, "What in the world?" So, yeah, shout out to using the tool to not have to try and do those translations on your own.
Yes. Yeah, it's great. And you know, you can take a step out of your room, go get some coffee, get a drink, do whatever you need to do, take care of kids, make dinner. It really just works for you.
Perfect. And we should actually link directly to the so I've shared the link now on the description in YouTube, and I will share it also for the LinkedIn folks. I've shared it as a comment. Please share to everybody that might be interested in. But we should also share the extension link itself directly, and I'll do that now. Let me find it while it's processing there. How big is this code base that you're working on now?
So, oh yeah, you know, I did not tell you anything about what we're working with. So this is an old asset manager project. So essentially, it's a way, and it's currently on Java 8, hosted on AWS. I wouldn't say it's an extremely large code base because, like we were talking about earlier in our workflow diagram, the goal is that after you know, let's say in GM's example, they said they changed 1,300 files. So it's not like there was one run of GitHub Copilot and they changed 1,300. There were different bits and pieces, which whereas, you know, in a real world scenario could be like one aspect of a very large application. So this in itself it's just an asset manager. The application allows you to upload, download, remove. It's like a file manager in the cloud. So it has you know, permissions management, database. It uses AWS 3, so on and so forth.
So that is the project that you were using as a base, and the project was when was the last, like what version of Java is it using? What are we looking to? Or I
It's
guess the
currently
assessment is
using
going to tell us that.
Yeah, the assessment will tell us, but you know, I know from ahead of time that it's using Java 8. So
Java 8, brilliant.
it's old. It's definitely old.
And then we had a question from the
How are
audience.
we
They
doing?
wanted to know
Do you
what.
keep losing me or?
No, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Oh no,
Yeah,
is it
yeah. I
me?
think maybe
Is
there's a
it
bit of lag. It keeps doing this like little loading icon thing. So, but yeah, you're good now.
okay?
Just
Brilliant.
wanted to make sure.
There was also a question from the audience about what ID you're using for this demo today.
Yes. So I'm currently on IntelliJ. The reason I'm using IntelliJ is because the tool was just recently released on IntelliJ, but it's also on VS Code for Java and it's on Visual Studio for .NET. So at least if you're on Java, you have both options, IntelliJ or VS Code, whatever rocks your boat.
I love it, brilliant, because it's basically a VS Code extension,
Mhm.
the Java version. Okay, great.
Yes. Yeah, I would say there are some workarounds you have to do in IntelliJ to really get the full Copilot experience. For instance, you have to configure some auto approve rules, so you don't have to click approve every 2 to 3 seconds. And again, I'm saying this with a big disclaimer. Do it at your own risk, depending on what the project is and how much you trust it. So if you open up your settings, go to tools, and then find GitHub Copilot, go to chat. So here you can actually configure different rules such as auto approving, what controls the tool can take care of, trusting MCP tool annotations. So this is really where you can go and help Copilot make all those decisions. But again, at your own risk.
Yes.
Like I
Yes,
said
yes,
earlier,
yes.
it's like a 2-year-old. Um, it can very easily go down the wrong direction. Were we just talking yesterday? Maybe I was talking with somebody else yesterday, and um, whenever like an AWS server or anything really goes down, I see like the Tech Roast show, they like make a funny reel about how like there's probably some intern behind the scenes who just deletes everything and refactors everything because they think they can do it better.
I
So
mean, this is real life. It happens.
it happens, and now it's easier than ever before to refactor everything, but it can break everything in the process. And again, AI is not perfect. It's a very smart 2-year-old, so be careful. That's my one word of advice throughout today's entire session is be careful, use it with responsibility, but at the same time, yes, it's amazing, and it'll really help you out.
Excellent. Okay. All right. So we're giving it a
So
moment
it looks
now.
like we're
It's still working.
Yes, we can see it's running. It's 9:20, 9:30 out of 1,063 processed rules. So yeah, our development team has done a good job really breaking, like you can think of it, maybe there's 1,063 mini tasks that go on in the back of our head when we manually go through a code base and try to understand it. So that's been automated, and uh, Copilot's understanding it for us. So
Amazing.
1062 out of 163. So hopefully it'll pop up something real soon. There we go. So this is the nice UI I was talking about. Uh, so this is your mission control, as I like to call it. They call it an assessment report, but I love calling it mission control. It's it's just such a cool dashboard which gives you a lay of the land of everything going on in your application. So we can see it recognizes that our Java version is 8. We can see an issue summary. There's 4 Java upgrade issues, 10 cloud readiness issues. It breaks them up into mandatory issues, potential, and optional. And we can see that 74% of issues can be resolved via Microsoft provided solutions. So does that mean that the remaining 26% you're fully on your own? No, not exactly. You can use Copilot to help guide you through upgrading, modernizing, or whatever is not covered by Microsoft provided solutions. Or the other thing is, let's say in your company, in your code, whatever team you're working in, let's say there's an edge case which is very specific to your industry. You can actually create your own solutions that become part of your toolkit. So you no longer have to manually do it. And it's really cool because you just point it to the direction of a past manually migrated project. It learns from it, and it replicates it to any other similar scenario. So you definitely have control in your hands to add as much functionality as you would like. So over here at the top, we see our cloud readiness issues. And once again, it's amazing because look at everything it learned in the past, I think, 7, 8 minutes about this application. And it's suggesting everything we need to do. But we'll come back to this. The more important thing is we need to upgrade our Java version. Everything will come after the Java version. So we can see Java version upgrade. Oops. Scroll back down. And all we have to do is hit run task. And that should pop open a Copilot window. Yeah, there we go. So we can see it's running an MCP tool, and we told Copilot upgrade Java for this project to the latest stable version using Java upgrade tools. So once again, we've handed it back to Copilot. It's taken over and it's going to start understanding how to upgrade our Java version. And it's just like a human. It'll first look at the project, it'll understand what needs to be changed, it'll develop a plan, and we can take a look at that plan, make any changes as necessary. Oh, there we go. See, that's perfect. So we can see that the plan had popped up here. So because I have configured auto approve tools, it didn't ask to approve the plan, but we can see that it comes up with the plan step by step. If at any point you're like, hey, actually, I wanted to not upgrade to Java 21, but 19 for whatever reason, you can tell Copilot, just interject and be like, hey, actually, just upgrade to 19. So you are in control, which is the most important part. You're not kept out of the loop. You are like a manager for this tool. And this is our progress. Once again, depending on the project, depending on how Copilot's feeling, it can take 5 to 10 minutes. And of course, depending on the size of the project. But you can see everything that is happening, what Copilot is doing. So we'll give it a few minutes to run. In the meantime, anybody has any questions, comments, concerns, reflections, amazements, feel free to share. I wish there was a way to fast forward the stream. That'd be cool. Okay. Looks like Andrea is rejoining. She said she killed the wrong process when she thought the latency problem was her. How accurate is it as far as hallucinations go? Yes, it's very possible for it to hallucinate, and that's kind of the analogy of like the very intelligent 2-year-old. It can get turned around real quick, and whenever there are issues or problems, for example, let's say there's a CVE issue that is trying to solve, or more common, let's say the project is not building, it'll iterate through like a human. We give it 10 attempts. It'll go try to build the code. If it doesn't work, go and try to resolve it, build it again, resolve it, build it again. So it iterates just like a human. And in that iteration process, sometimes if you don't give it any guidance, Copilot can go down the wrong rabbit hole, which may or may have nothing to do with how to actually solve the problem, and it can actually regress the progress you're trying to make. So that's why it's still important for you to be involved as a developer in the process, to kind of be the overseer of what's going on, and make sure that it's the 2-year-old AI agent is pointing in the right direction and crawling in the right way such that it can do the job correctly. So yes, hallucinations are still possible. It's just the nature of AI. But again, you are in control. You can take over. You can re-guide it, reposition what Copilot should do, and that should keep it at par. All right. Oh, and then the other thing actually, so you can change the model that is being used. I forgot to change it. So the tool, they actually recommend using Claude Sonnet 4.5. There's a little pop-up when you open the tool. I forgot to change it. But I mean, the GPT models also do just fine, but they've seen, and I've also seen that the Sonnet models typically do a little better with code reasoning, understanding, and working, at least for this app modernization tool. And we can see here it's using Open Rewrite. to upgrade our tool or upgrade our project to Java 21. So we haven't reinvented the wheel here. There are already some really great existing tools out there in the world which allow us to refactor, upgrade projects. But what this tool is doing is it's bringing the best of what's already out there in the world and streamlining it into a nice little package with an end-to-end workflow. Hello, welcome back.
Hi, I am so sorry, friends. This is what happens when you. I went a little bit wild on my terminal and killed up all the processes. I thought it was my latency issue, and then killed myself in the process. But all right, so tell us where we are now.
Yeah, so we're currently upgrading our Java version. And to summarize, we had a plan that was generated, and it's essentially the procedure that Copilot follows. And once approved, it starts working on that plan. We can see these are all the steps it's taken so far: generating the upgrade plan, confirming the upgrade plan. I have it configured where the plan auto confirms, at least for this project environment. Again, I have only done it for this project. Please don't auto configure everything to yes, and it screws up some really important project for you.
I love
Responsibility.
that. All right. Let me ask you a question right here that is burning question. And I'm scrolling through the chat, my friends. I promise you I have not forgot. So I will see if I miss one of your questions. But before this tool, this entire process, what are we talking about? I mean, weeks, like just going through the code, parsing the code, and then manually, I guess you will have to come up with your upgrade plan. You're doing a lot of that research by hand, like kind of testing to see what dependencies, what is it that needs to be upgraded on the project. So the tool did this, and I don't know, how long did it take altogether, Ayan?
I mean, we've only been in this live stream for 36 minutes, so I think I talked for the first 10 minutes, so maybe
Yeah,
20, 25 minutes.
amazing. And all of these, again, with you in the loop, like human in the loop, you did not say go to town. But then again, friends, if you want to YOLO it in a project that you're like, let's test it out to see what it does, go for it. But thank you for the disclaimers to, definitely give permissions responsibly. There is a question about Azure DevOps to GHE and GitHub Actions using GitHub Copilot agent mode. I think we'll come back to that question. And then there is another comment about seeing the custom upgraders in action. Oh, this is an interesting point, Russell. What do you mean by the custom upgraders in action? Like you want to see under the hood what it's actually doing? Like right now, we're through the evaluation process so far, the checks, right? Now we know we haven't really actually done anything yet. Correct me if I'm wrong, I am.
Yeah, we're just waiting for the Java upgrade, and hopefully it finishes soon. If not, we'll jump ahead, and we'll definitely get to or I guess this isn't custom upgrade. Oh, custom upgrades in action. Okay, I think what Russell's talking about is I was mentioning how in the assessment plan or the assessment report, there's a little disclaimer or a little information thing at the top which says 74% of issues can be resolved via Microsoft provided solutions. So I think what Russell is mentioning is there is a way that you can create your own solutions by pointing it to old refactored code that you have manually done or upgraded code, and it imitates or it follows that procedure that you followed. Again, you have to have that commit history, which shows how you did it. So there's actually, for today's session, I'm not exactly sure if we'll fully get around to it, but I'll send this link. Where should I send this link, Andrea?
Send it to me in our private chat here so I can post it to the community. Thank you.
Okay, let me send it to you.
There is.
So this is the documentation for how you can do it. It's really easy. It's step by step. It's also a nice nifty video on there which can guide you through that process.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And thank you so much, Russell, for the question. I'm going to go ahead and share that link now for all of you friends
great question. In the chat. And we can see now back in the progress report that the project upgraded to 21. and now it's validating and fixing any CVE issues. And we're on the final step now, which is it's going to summarize everything that it did. So we can take a look, review it, make sure it's a-okay, and we'll then move on to a migration use case where we'll migrate anything really. I'll let Andrea choose what we should migrate.
Ooh, I love this. I love this. Dealer's choice. I love this. Quick question from the audience, and thank you so much, Purnima, for being here. I think it's from Purnima. What versions of Java can this modernization tool support?
So it currently upgrades until 21. If you We are currently working on until 25, so give it a few weeks. It'll definitely be there. So all versions until 21 currently.
What's the oldest version of Java or E that you were using that you use the tool with?
Ooh, that's a great question. As far as I know, it supports really old versions. I don't think there's a lower bound simply because when you're upgrading from an old version of the same language to a new version of the same language, AI is really good at these repetitive tasks because it's following rules on how to upgrade. Because it's not a dynamic thing really. So I can get back to that question actually, but as far as I know, it's as old as you want to go.
All right. This is a challenge.
Yes.
1.0. Like, let's take it way back. Excellent. So what are we doing now?
Yeah, so this is our upgraded Java project summary. So we can see the goal was to upgrade to Java 21. These are all the changes it made. Code commits. We can see potential CVE issues. Again, most important part. Here at Microsoft, we really care about security, and AI does a lot of great stuff for hackers, but it can also do a lot of good stuff for us as developers in terms of making sure we're coding responsibly and being aware of any potential issues. So we can see it brought to light these two issues, and they're both critical. It wasn't able to fix it automatically. It tried to fix as many of them as possible. So this would be where you as a developer now need to get a little bit more hands-on. You can still use Copilot agent mode to help solve them, but again, something that you should definitely get involved in and address. So now let's go back into our assessment report. If you were to run the assessment report again, you would hopefully see that there's no more Java upgrade issues, or they have been reduced, at least the big ones. For the purpose of just this demo and time's sake, I won't run the assessment report again, just so we can save some time. But now, Andrea, over to you. You can see the list of different migration tasks. Do you have a favorite one you want to pick?
Oh, let's see. Hang on a second. Let me zoom in so I can see. I like this. Let's do let's see what let's do a database one. Yeah? One
Yeah,
of the potential ones? Yeah, let's do that.
we can do this database one. And I'm glad you chose that one because it lets you pick actually where you want to migrate. And there's a small UI issue, I think.
Can you hit the tab? If not, we'll move on to another one. But
No, well, we can definitely do it. Like, for example, it's saying Spring,
but you should be able to
public
see.
cloud. Yeah,
I see what
typically
you're
you can
saying.
see the full thing. So we can like do Spring. I can't really read. It's something cake.
If that's your favorite database, that's the one.
Or like we can migrate to public cloud. So we
Let's
can
do
do
that
like
public cloud.
public cloud. So
Perfect.
we run task.
All right. That's an
And
issue for us to open for the team. But listen,
yes,
this is the whole point of doing these things also is so that you can help us figure out what's not right and get a fix. Brilliant.
exactly. It's always a work in progress, and uh, it's been on VS Code now for some weeks. It's been on IntelliJ for I think just a little over a week now.
I
So
appreciate the audacity of you coming to demo this a week old in IntelliJ.
yeah, so we're seeing it's asking us if it's okay to create sensitive files such as the progress report. That's okay by me. So once again, it's very similar to the Java upgrade. It's going to walk us through exactly what it's going to do. And it's real nice. Again, you can sit back, watch a TV show, drink some coffee, whatever you like to do, really.
Awesome. Okay, so now it's gonna walk through all the tasks that I guess it would need to do. You see how it's querying the files, and again, because Ian did not do the YOLO, go for it, do all the things. You're still a lot more in the loop than if you have given that sort of allow all. Perfect. But I appreciate those prompts though, because it does keep you engaged, and you can actually see what's
Right.
going on. You can see how it's using the MCP tool.
And like it's
Very
it's
cool.
even telling you, oh, I'm going to be reading this sensitive file. Is it okay if I read it? So if you're like in a corporate setting, it's in your hands what the AI accesses, what it looks at, what it does. If I had turned off like all auto approve settings, like every 2 or 3 seconds, I would get an ask for permission. So totally up to you how free you want to let Copilot go or how hands-on you want to be.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And then again, this it goes back to what your requirements is, what your team's posture is on how you use the tools. But for your own projects, like go experiment and find the workflow that works for you. You're already saving so much time though. I appreciate the go watch a show, drink some tea. This is great.
Yeah, I mean that's literally what I do. Like one time I just let it run. I went and had dinner and I came back and it was waiting for me to approve something, but it still had made pretty good progress. And you know, it's a lot better than those midnight all-nighters that sometimes you pull. You can let it do some extra work while you wait.
For sure, for sure. All right, so look at searching for everything, and then oh no, do we
Yeah.
have an exception?
So it's it's again just like a real human, so it'll make mistakes, which is totally normal, but it'll also try to resolve them so we can actually see. It was asked to open a device that was not a file. Uh, oh, and then it succeeded. It eventually made it through. Um, yeah, I'm not sure what the error was.
That's so interesting. I'd have probably higher speed than we would have done it manually.
Yes.
So
Yeah. So we'll maybe let it run for 3 or 4 more minutes. If we're lucky, it'll finish fully. But if not, I went ahead and actually fully migrated the project a little earlier on because you can see that there's a large laundry list of
yes,
migrations that need to happen, and we're not going to make you sit through all of it.
yes. Oh, before we go there though, because I do want to understand how the criticality of the upgrades is rated. Can you speak to that? Like what is sort of the criteria that um, Copilot is taken into consideration there, or is this like how is that set? Is that part of the tool itself? You know
Yeah,
how
it's
like
it's part of the tool itself. Like for example, if you're migrating from Azure to, I mean, from AWS to Azure,
mhm.
if you're currently using AWS S3, I mean that's a must. You have to migrate it to Azure. So that's essentially what it looks at. It's telling you what are the things you must do in order for this project to successfully be migrated, and what are the things that you can do or optionally you can do which might be good for your project, which might streamline it, which might improve security issues. So that's where the potential comes in, and then the optional is really just it's not important. It's do it if you would like. And again, this is where Copilot is a great tool. You can use the ask mode and ask it, hey, I saw that you mentioned that I should optionally consider database reliability when migrating to, we can see the whole message actually here if I pull this out, migrating to Azure.
Okay.
We can ask it, why did you say it's an optional migration. And what do you mean by considering database reliability? It'll have a lot more to tell you because it's understood the project already. So don't need to scratch your head too much. Ask Copilot and take advantage of this really smart tool at your fingertips.
Amazing. Okay, that's
So
great.
we can go back. Oh yeah, see, I didn't pay attention and I didn't click allow, so it was stuck. But we can see this is the migration plan it has come up with. Um, it has its own knowledge base, right? Because it's a pre-programmed sort of migration case. So
Mm-hmm.
it has a lot more guidelines it can follow. It has a list of files to be changed. So again, as a developer, if you're working on some really important code, let's say you're working on the Louvre security system, uh, this would be a good place to check and make sure that it's changing the right files. uh, Configuration files, Java source files, and migration order, phase one, phase two, phase three. I'm scrolling through this real fast, but it gives you tons and tons of great information. This is the iteration loop process, right? So, like I was mentioning, it's like a human. It won't get it right on the first time, or sometimes it does. Life can be like that sometimes. It might get it right on the first time, but it'll loop through. Oftentimes, it might not build on the first time. It'll loop through, fix any bugs, security issues, anything it finds. Like we saw a real world scenario right here where it was unable to do whatever it was trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was read a file. Oops, my battery is running low. Hold up. I wanna stay
We'll plug
online.
in. We'll plug in. And
Yeah.
for the folks that maybe don't live and breathe in security, right? Like it is so important that it actually has that scan for CVE issues because when you are upgrading, let's say hypothetically speaking, from Java 8 to like 21, or is 21 the most recent stable or long support? I think it is, or it might be 25 by now. But you're not just changing like the version of the language, right? You're unlocking all these dependencies that also need updating. And if you miss those updates, you might actually expose yourself to your projects to security holes that are known. And so that's a great use case for you to get the tool to do that for you. So it's not just like making newer for the sake of making it newer, like we're going to upgrade because we're off Java 8. I think a lot of the projects that don't get upgraded is not because we don't want to, or it might be tech debt, or it might be also the fact that it's working. Like for my personal project that I use for the example blog post that I share, it was working. Shout out to the long support of Java 8, because if it was still doing what I needed to do, I didn't see the need to do it. But in hindsight, because from a security point of view and also to modernize, it's best to bring it to the future. So doing that CVEs kind of is huge. And then how it scans the whole project, it's gonna find all the dependencies and then do the scan again, right, to check them against the known CVE databases, and then it tries to fix it. It tries to fix it, but it also keeps you in the loop. So it'll try to fix it. Not everything is auto fixable, and I think that was maybe one of the warnings that was coming up that we saw with Ayan's screen. And we're gonna give Ayan a few moments. I do want to see the end result, so we're gonna wait for him to come back and show us. Because the report at the end, I think, is one of the best parts of this tool, because you're able to not only, yes, run through the entire assessment, pick your specific uh, migration that you want to focus on, but then at the end you get this brilliant report that actually talks you through everything that's happened. So but it is important though to that CVE report, and I love that that's baked into the way that the modernization app works. All right, I love this is the temporary host and co-host show. Ian is back.
Yes. Yeah. It said low battery, and I saw it there was 6%. So I was like, good. I have like 2 minutes, and it just took me off right
Yeah,
away.
it's
I think
cool.
I think
No
all the
worries.
external like monitors and mics and cameras are like taking a toll on the system.
No
So
worries. I'm gonna
actually
give
now,
you a moment. Let's see if
yeah.
we can take a look and see what. But I went on a tangent about CVEs. Listen, I just spent, before I joined this, I was actually recording a podcast. Hopefully it'll be out soon. But I spent a lot of time talking about under hype features of GitHub, and security, of course, is It's always my favorite things to
Mm,
bring up because there's a lot of things that are baked into the platform for your security that you're not using. And I need you to go enable
yes.
it all. Brilliant. All right, let's see. Oh, thank you. So JDK 25 will receive updates from Oracle until September of 2028. That doesn't seem like a long time. Not at all. Not at all. And that's 25. Okay, brilliant. And thank you, Cassandra, for chiming in. Yes, anytime that we're spending manually addressing this CVEs issues is more time that you can actually
Mm,
spend on the
exactly.
complex fixes. Thank you so much. And I'm looking through the chat to make sure I'm not missing any of your questions. Welcome, Sebastian. And for all of you .NET folks who are joining in, remember you can do this in .NET on Visual Studio. Same thing, same. I will drop the link for that in the notes as well so that you can access it. But if you go to the main link that Ayan has so generously put together, there you'll find the tutorials, the link to the repo, the blog posts, the full Monty, like they say. All right, we're back.
Yeah, so I went ahead and jumped to the migrated project, and I think my computer's still recovering. You know, when you turn it on, it tries opening everything in the world again where you left off. So it's being a little slow. So bear with me. So if we open up, so now just to recap, this is a fully migrated project. Our Java version is upgraded. We've migrated all of the required, uh, you know, tools, configurations, dependencies, resources that were previously on AWS, and now we can do something really cool. I really love this because I think it's a hidden feature of this tool,
Ooh,
which is that it can actually help you deploy your applications to Azure, which, in my opinion, deploying your code to the cloud is one of the most cumbersome tasks because there's just so many things that can go wrong, so many things you have to configure, so on and so forth. Then over here in the tasks section, there's two predefined deployment tasks. One is deploy to existing Azure infrastructure, and then the other is provision infrastructure and deploy to Azure. So because we are working with a brand new project, we can click on provision infrastructure and deploy to Azure, click the little start button, and once my computer catches up, it should open up Copilot, and it will use AZD to deploy your code. Just like a human, it doesn't do anything different from what you would do other than the fact that it's a little quicker and it'll try to auto resolve any issues that come up. So
very cool. So it's using the
let's
Azure CLI tools, like to
Mhm,
do this part. That's
exactly.
that's awesome.
Yeah, so there we go. So you can see there's a very cryptic predefined task that they've given Copilot. It says, I'll help you scan your project, create an architecture diagram, and deploy it to Azure. Let me start by examining the project. We can see there were some errors, but it dealt with them, no issues at all. Yeah, it had trouble reading those files. Now it's reading them. So again, I really appreciate how well the tool keeps you in the loop. We can see that it's going to generate an architecture diagram. We don't have to be left guessing if Copilot actually truly understood the project. The architecture diagram gives us a foundation to really verify the work that Copilot is doing. And once that pops up, which should be in just a minute or two, it'll really clarify everything that needs to happen. So everything in this tool, it follows the same process. It analyzes, it informs you as the user of the tool, it allows for any updates or changes, and then you can set it free. So we can see it's generating the architecture diagram.
Very cool. So it's actually gonna give us like a visual
Yes.
representation of that infra. I love that. Look
Yeah,
at
so we
that.
can see architecture and data flow. I haven't even gotten to the coolest part yet. Hold up. Let me scroll. Wait, hold up. Something's not working. Should have worked because I have mermaid chart
To
uh,
render it.
to render it exactly.
Ah,
So typically, every time I've done it before, it renders. I think there's just some issue because it's saying, yeah, you need to have uh, mermaid preview. Oh, it's clear.
Yeah.
There's just some issues right now, but it'll render. It looks really cool. It's and it's really interesting because I was talking to a person at a conference recently. There's like a small, consulting firm which for their whole life they just have done upgrades and migrations, and they say that for every project they get a whiteboard like this big, the
Mm-hmm.
size of the wall, and they just whiteboard the whole architecture of the project because it's just such a critical piece of information that is required for all developers to understand before you can actually do anything. So the fact that it
Absolutely.
does it automatically, it understands it, it's really helpful. So we can see now after the architecture diagram, I'll just accept the changes it's making. We get a plan, and again, this would render. Maybe if I restart the IDE, it'll render.
It
But
might, yeah. And if
yeah,
not in the Azure samples, I think there is an example of what that looks like. What like an example of an architecture diagram. Let me stop you right there. So what if I see something there and I'm like, I want to use a different
yes,
service.
yes,
I wanna make a change to what's being actually presented.
In Azure samples, the project will everything it'll do, environment setup, containerization, deployment. Um, so it's really great, and this sometimes takes fairly long
I think we're having some latency issues
uh,
again,
some
Ayan, because it's coming a bit
things just take some
choppy.
time to deploy. So it's already working on it. Oh, it's choppy, huh?
Yeah, it's coming across
Can
a
you hear
little
me?
bit choppy. Yeah, I can hear you now. I'm gonna stop you for one moment so you can catch up to my question because I want my question
Okay.
answered. All right, brilliant. So I take a look at this diagram. What if I want to adjust? What if I see something that I wanna use a different service, or I want to change something at this point? Is that something I can iterate then?
Yeah, definitely. So again, you can stop Copilot, interject. You tell it, hey, actually, I don't want to use uh, container apps, or I don't want to use ACA. I want to use just app service.
Okay.
You have control over that, and once you tell it to make that change, it'll go make changes to the files, the configurations in your project that are necessary. It that typically should not be the case because as you saw in the assessment report, we are the ones making the decisions for where we are migrating everything. But if you
Hmm.
have like a second, thought, maybe actually let's do it that way. You can always come back to it and say, actually do it that way, and
Perfect.
it'll make those changes for you. The architecture diagram, it's mainly there for you to just double check to make sure that it's understanding the project correctly, right? Is there authentication where there needs to be, is all those other nuances which are important for us. So you can see it's already working. It's writing all of these different JSON files
Hmm.
and bicep files to configure the project to get it ready for um, release into the world,
Perfect.
onto the cloud.
This is
Uh,
beautiful. Like not having to do that manually. What?
I love watching it do this. It's like amazing. But again, won't make all of you watch this. I'm gonna stop sharing. I took the liberty before the session this morning to deploy it so I can show you
Yes,
uh,
let's see
the
it.
deployed application. So I'm gonna share my screen and let's see how I can do this. Yeah, because I'm down to one screen. I had to unplug the other. Like, no matter how many ports you have these days, it's not enough.
I love how you went to the studio so that you would be like in the studio. And we're fighting with our systems today.
Yeah.
Let me take a quick look through the questions while, and thank you so much. I appreciate you. My friend Eric on LinkedIn went by and figure out all the questions I was asking about the long-term support and come back with the answers. Question about, let's see, Mateos. Copilot needs data to understand the project. How can I use this tool to upgrade application and server when they have a different language and different framework, or they're
Mm,
in different workspaces?
yes. So that's where if you remember the diagram we pulled up earlier, that's where the earlier steps take place, where you take a look at your larger project. You have to break it up into logical chunks, right? So if you have right now the tool works with .NET and Java.
Mm-hmm.
It will work with TypeScript and Python in the future. It's being worked
Ooh,
on. So a little
awesome.
teaser, a little surprise bit of information you get for joining the live stream. So just hold tight for another few weeks. It'll be there in the world for you to use. Um, but again, it comes down to how you break down the project. There's so many ways to open issues or or to chunk up the project really. The suggestion is that you chunk it up in a way where you can take advantage of these tools. Like you mentioned, it's not going to be able, we're not at the point yet where it's able to deal with multi-language projects within a single directory.
I see that as the future, though. Like, there is
Yeah.
no scenario in which, especially now with the way that we're running agents and multiple workload, like there is no scenario in which that doesn't happen eventually.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely, absolutely. Like you can see, and the world is changing fast. You can see how incremental steps are being taken to automate different parts of this vertical ecosystem. And maybe step 1, 5, and 7 are done, and now we're working on 3 and 6. But eventually, the whole workflow will be integrated and streamlined and automated. It'll be a beautiful piece of art, in my opinion.
Amazing. And then we have another comment from Mark. And thank you so much, Matheus, for the question. And Mark, a comment from Mark that this is what you like to see, I guess, when you're running the tool. The resource hierarchy diagram and the mermaid graph diagram to be in sync. That is very interesting. So you want to see your entire Azure hierarchy to be laid out. And then I guess you compare that to the mermaid graph, and
Hmm.
that's great. That way you can see exactly, I guess, how it correlates. Let me bring up
Yep.
your screen so we can take a look. Thanks so much, Mark, for sharing that. Look at it.
Yes, so this is everything that was deployed earlier this morning
Hmm.
when I ran the project. It failed a few times when deploying. There were issues for sure. We can see deployments. Some failed, but it it made it through eventually, made it work. So if we open up our site, we can see that we have an asset manager project working. There's some issues. You can see like the upload new is like not visible unless there's a magic button right next to the view assets.
Uh-huh.
But it still did a good job, and we can upload content.
I love
Uh,
this.
my friend Matt in the studio, he made this cool AI generated picture of me standing in another one of the sound stages here.
Oh, that's cool.
So we will go ahead and upload it. It'll upload.
And listen, I don't know if you're in the nightly build of IntelliJ, but you can take that task, for example, that little bug on the UI there, and just delegate it to the coding agent and get
Yes.
it to go and fix that for you.
Yes. Yeah. So
Very cool.
it's uploading. And once it uploads, we can go to the gallery. We can see, aha, it's uploaded. Everything works. We can also delete it, but I like it. So we'll leave it in the cloud so I can access it from anywhere. But yeah, I mean, that's it. I think it's not perfect. It did a pretty good job. I would say 9 out of 10 if I were to rate it. um,
Remind
and
us, what was we went from 8 to 21?
yes, 8 to 21, and then from AWS to Azure.
Amazing.
Yes, and in the link, the AKA link that is in the description of the video, uh, do check it out. It'll take you to all the information you need to know about using this tool for Java and .NET, and eventually all the future languages that the tool supports. Even I remember someone was asking a question about uh, creating and applying your own tasks, right? So all of that is included in this documentation or as quick start guides. So this is definitely your place to get started, and this is also where you can uh, Oh, actually, I do not see the links to download it, but if you search for GitHub Copilot App Modernization on the VS Code extension library or IntelliJ or just Visual Studio, you'll come across it. You won't miss it. It'll be there.
For sure. I've shared it earlier on the chat, but I'll share it again so it is kind of on the top of folks. But yeah,
Yes.
if you just go on the extension marketplace or IntelliJ, you'll be able to see it there. Well, so that just happened. That was pretty epic. I mean, in an hour, I mean, I would say less than an hour because definitely like the whole migration process did not take that long. You took
Yeah,
this
I mean, I think we
application
had more video, audio, and technical issues than issues with Copilot.
that you know what, Copilot is goaded today. I love this. I love it. But you took this application from Java 8 on AWS to Java 21 on Azure. You fully deployed it. We saw it
Yes.
running. That's amazing. Copilot did a lot of work. It did a lot of the scanning, fixing vulnerabilities, building the infrastructure, they help with the deploying, but you were in the loop there the entire time with the added guardrails that you wanted to give, of course.
Mhm.
uh Amazing, amazing, amazing. I urge you folks to go by the link and take a look at the examples that are there so that you can see that architecture diagram and all that, because it is very interesting to actually see. I love how much this has evolved in just a few months. This team is absolutely cooking. Like the first time I used this extension, it did not look like this. The report is I'm a very visual person. Like that's wonderful. That is fantastic. The way that it's actually coming up, like rendering the plan and everything is great. So I love it. I love it. For all of you who watch this and you're like, you know what, I got that project that's collecting dust, that one repo. Um, that would be a good use case for this. You can try it. You can try it today and come back and let us know how it worked out for you. I think key thing to remember here, folks, is like you don't have to line like the way that the app when it was doing creating all the bicep files and things, like it's like this is the why, because you don't need to write line by line anymore. Like you're there making the judgment calls, you're there understanding the whole picture, understanding what matters, selecting what tasks are important. Like, thank you, Ayan, so generous, gave me the choice, and I picked the hardest task of doing this that average migration. But you're there making those decisions, and you're just using the AI to help. So get curious about it, go try it out. This is excellent. Ayan, thank you so much for showing us this today. How can people reach to you directly if they want to say hi, invite you to speak, ask you
Yeah, reach out to me
questions?
on LinkedIn. If you used it, tell me how it goes. If you have feedback, please drop me a message. My LinkedIn is an open mailbox. Uh, that's I love talking to people, so do drop me a message.
Amazing. And I'm going to share with all of you folks also, and it might be too late, or maybe it's not because I'm on the East Coast and I think this was going to be done on Pacific time. But for those of you who might have burning questions about this or anything else, Copilot, we have a Reddit. Go to that Reddit. I am going to keep an eye on it today, and I am going to, through the power of Teams, send Ian lots of messages where I need his help to come in and help us chime in if they're specific to the app. But if you're wondering what the team is doing, there's actually an AMA that's happening right now, where we have, I think, our SVP of product is there. A lot of people that actually have powers, right? Like my powers here are limited. I get to show things, but I can't decide things. So if you have thoughts about what you like to see GitHub Copilot do, what other languages you like to have this modernization app support, bring them to Reddit, because I promise you the team is reading. Oh, yes, they are. Amazing. Thank you so much. I'm going to go back to the chat, make sure I didn't miss any questions. I had anything else that you want to leave us with as a close up?
Uh, no, I just think it's an amazing tool. When I used it the first time, I was skeptical at first,
It's
but
good.
I think it really does pull its weight. And the most important thing I would say is to know when to use it and where to use it. Sometimes I talk with folks and they're like, "Yeah, it's really not working." Again, it doesn't do the full thing. It's an intelligent 2-year-old. Give it projects in chunks. Make sure you're doing the work beforehand in the full pipeline when you're trying to modernize and migrate a huge project, or even move from on-prem to like Azure.
Mm-hmm.
But it does this task really well. Once you understand what it does and you chunk your project in the right way, it'll really do wonders for your team.
Absolutely. Give it a try, And again, I love that you shared at the beginning of the conversation this tested and true enterprise scale, that like telecom, that like your phone is not
Mm,
going to work if something breaks there.
yeah.
For China. Like, so it's being trusted and used by our customers, but this is also a tool for you. So use it in your projects, test it in your projects. If you're sitting at work with a project that you think this is going to come down to that last minute 2028, like don't wait until then. Start bringing the subject, bring the tool to their attention. I think a lot of times and it's good to have a skepticism of these new things. I'm here with you, Ayan. I look at everything with a tell me more. But it's great to see that trusted enterprises are using the tool as a trusted tool. And I can tell that the team is really cooking and putting so much effort into the entire experience. It's only gonna get better. I can't believe you told us, like, you heard it here first, TypeScript and what was coming up
Python.
again? Yes, I mean, get out. Fantastic, fantastic. So TypeScript now being the number one language in GitHub, and get a lot of that. So there's gonna be a lot of projects that can use this tool to modernize. So um, give it a go. Follow Ayan on LinkedIn. Tune in to Microsoft Ignite, which is coming up in the next couple of weeks. And I think there'll be some big announcements, maybe including announcements about this tool. But thank you so much for being here today. And thank you so much to who was this human down here that actually, where are you? He actually outlined what that bug is, Ian. So
Ah,
I'm gonna paste it to you. I think it was hover state, because literally you just need to copy and paste that comment on Copilot chat and assign that, delegate
yeah.
it to the agent, and then the next time you do this demo, that will be fixed.
Wonderful.
So amazing! Thank you so much to everyone for joining. Thank you, Ian. We'll see you next time. You have to come back, okay?
Definitely. Yeah, it's great meeting you all. And yeah, don't let the Louvre heist happen to you.
Yay! I love that. This is excellent, excellent, excellent advice. All right, friends. Well, go ahead and follow Ian on socials, please. Let me make sure that I'm not missing any of your burning questions. Remember our Reddit AMA, or actually our Reddit in general. If you live in Reddit, come by and join this little corner of the internet where you can get your burning GitHub Copilot questions, or simply your commentary read by the people who actually have powers. So bring them over there, drop them, participate on the AMM, please. Drop your questions there. Thank you so much to everyone who's joined. I appreciate you, Sani, Rafael, John, Jeremiah, Amian. I see your question. It is language specific right now. It supports .NET and Java, but then TypeScript is coming, and I think in the future you will see a lot more languages. And if you just join or you join late, fear not. This is living forever and ever in the YouTube channel of GitHub. And if you have not subscribed to the YouTube channel of GitHub, please do it so I can stay employed. I appreciate you so much. This is hilarious. Instead of a 2-year-old, your AI has evolved into a snarky teenager. I like that. I like that a lot. I got one of those in my house, so I feel the sentiment. All right, friends. Well, thank you so much. I am again a Colombia dev. I'm dropping my social here, so give me a shout, please. If you use the tool, please add me at GitHub community and let us know how it worked out for you, or go by the Reddit and drop a comment. Thank you so much for being here, and we'll catch you tomorrow with Robert Duck Thursday. My colleague, I think it might even be Cassidy. Hey, friends, Cassidy is back. It might be Cassidy who's doing Robert Duck Thursday tomorrow. I'm not sure. I think we'll have a Spanish version. We'll go over some of the universe announcements. And then on Friday, we'll have an open source Friday for you to tune in. If you have not seen the keynote from GitHub Universe, please, after you subscribe to our YouTube channel, take a listen. Day 1, take a listen. Day 2, if you're curious about what I meant by the Furbies being possessed, you'll know what I'm talking about at the end. Thank you all so much. Have a great rest of your afternoon. Take the rest of the day off.